The New York Knicks are rolling into tonight's game with swagger, momentum, and purpose. Riding a 4-game winning streak, the Knicks have hit their stride early this season, and they'll look to extend that hot run against a Memphis Grizzlies team still searching for answers. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Coming off a dominant performance against the Brooklyn Nets, New York looked sharp, disciplined, and confident on both ends of the floor. The chemistry between Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns continues to strengthen with each game, creating one of the most balanced and efficient offenses in the league. For head coach Mike Brown, the challenge now is maintaining that consistency through a grueling stretch of the schedule, beginning with tonight's matchup against a Grizzlies team desperate to turn things around. Memphis, currently 4-7 and sitting 10th in the Western Conference, has been one of the league's most disappointing stories so far. Despite their star power, the Grizzlies have struggled to find rhythm amid internal issues, injuries, and inconsistent play. The tension surrounding Ja Morant's leadership continues to linger, while the team's depth has been tested early. With Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, Scottie Pippen Jr., and Ty Jerome all ruled out, head coach Taylor Jenkins is once again forced to shuffle rotations and lean heavily on a thin front court. That's exactly where the Knicks can strike. New York ranks second in the NBA in offensive rebounds, averaging over 15 per game. Their physicality and relentless pursuit of second chance opportunities have become a defining part of their identity. Karl Anthony Towns has rediscovered his All-NBA form, coming off a monster 28-point, 12-rebound outing against Brooklyn. His ability to stretch the floor while dominating inside poses a nightmare matchup for Memphis's depleted bigs. If Towns sets the tone early, expect the Knicks to control the paint and the tempo from start to finish. Mitchell Robinson's status remains uncertain as the veteran center continues to battle through minor injuries. But even without him, the Knicks have the size and depth to outmuscle the Grizzlies. Expect Mike Brown to mix things up, possibly giving Ariel Hukporti and Guershon Yabusele extended minutes in the rotation. And don't be surprised if Josh Hart sees action at the 5 in small ball lineups. Against an undermanned Memphis frontcourt, this could be the perfect opportunity for New York to experiment while staying aggressive on the boards. Offensively, the Knicks have been one of the NBA's most efficient and explosive shooting teams. Ranked 8th in three-point percentage and 2nd in attempts per game, they've built a system that thrives on spacing and quick decision-making. Mikal Bridges has been outstanding, shooting 50% from deep on over 5 attempts per game. His confidence from long range has added another dimension to the Knicks' offense. Meanwhile, OG Anunoby has provided crucial two-way production, hitting 44% of his threes while locking down opponents' top scorers on the defensive end. That balance between perimeter precision and interior dominance has made the Knicks one of the most dangerous teams in basketball. Their offensive success starts with Brunson, the engine behind New York's rhythm and flow. Brunson has opened the season with MVP caliber play, combining elite footwork, composure, and leadership. What's been most impressive is his evolution off the ball, constantly moving, reading defenses, and creating opportunities for teammates. It's a sign of how deeply he's bought into Mike Brown's offensive philosophy, built on movement, spacing, and trust. Against Memphis, Brunson faces a familiar rival in Ja Morant. Both guards bring flair and creativity to the position, but their styles couldn't be more different. Brunson relies on poise and precision, a master of pace and balance, while Morant thrives on speed, explosion, and improvisation. Historically, both have performed well in this matchup. Brunson has averaged 23 points, 7.6 assists, and 4.4 rebounds against the Grizzlies since joining New York. Morant, on the other hand, has posted nearly identical numbers, 23.1 points, 7.9 assists, and 4.9 rebounds across 9 career games against the Knicks. However, the two-point guards find themselves in very different situations tonight. Brunson is leading a Knicks team playing with confidence and cohesion, while Morant is trying to stabilize a Grizzlies group still dealing with uncertainty. His recent one-game suspension only added to Memphis's turbulence. The question now is whether Morant can flip the switch and carry his team against one of the league's hottest squads. Defensively, New York has shown notable improvement. The addition of Anunoby has transformed their perimeter defense, while Bridges' length and versatility allow the Knicks to switch freely on screens and close out shooters. Their discipline and physicality have forced opponents into tough, contested looks, a big reason why they've climbed the league's defensive rankings. Heading into tonight's game, the energy in Madison Square Garden will be electric. The Knicks remain undefeated at home, feeding off one of the most passionate fan bases in sports. But this game also serves as a test of focus. With the first half of a back-to-back looming, complacency is the one thing New York can't afford. Memphis might be wounded, but they still have star power capable of striking quickly if given the chance. For the Knicks, the formula is simple: control the glass, protect the perimeter, and keep the offense flowing through Brunson and Towns. If they execute, there's little reason to believe this streak ends tonight. Momentum, confidence, and chemistry are all pointing in New York's favor. And if the Knicks stay true to their identity, disciplined, unselfish, and relentless, the Garden faithful may once again leave the arena smiling, celebrating yet another victory for a team that looks more and more like a legitimate contender with every passing night. Karl-Anthony Towns' arrival in New York was billed as the move that could finally push the Knicks from contender to favorite. After years of chasing star talent, New York landed a 7-footer with all-star pedigree, elite shooting touch, and the kind of versatility that, on paper, should have complemented Jalen Brunson's command and Mikal Bridges' two-way efficiency perfectly. But nearly halfway through the season, the numbers, and the eye test, are telling a much different story. Rather than blending into a winning formula, Towns looks increasingly like a player still operating on his own agenda. His game, while productive statistically, often feels disconnected from the team's rhythm, and the more you dig into the data, the clearer it becomes. Karl-Anthony Towns might be prioritizing personal stats over the team's success. For a player joining a deeper roster, a usage rate adjustment is standard, even expected, but Towns hasn't adapted. Last season in Minnesota, he posted a 27.4% usage rate, averaging 21.8 points and 3.0 assists. This season in New York, surrounded by arguably the most balanced offensive core of his career, that number sits at 27.3%. What changed? His scoring ticked up from 21.8 to 24.4 points per game, but his assists barely moved, from 3.0 to 3.1. It's the same offensive load, just with more shots falling his way. In other words, Towns is consuming the same portion of possessions while producing more points for himself, not for his teammates. When elite players join stronger teams, their approach usually evolves. Think of Kevin Durant adjusting his game to fit the Warriors' motion offense, or Anthony Davis becoming more of a defensive anchor alongside LeBron James. In contrast, Towns seems determined to prove that his individual dominance can coexist with winning basketball, but the numbers suggest otherwise. His scoring increase of 11.9% is impressive, but his assist growth of only 3.3% tells the other half of the story. He's not involving teammates more, he's just taking and making more shots. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson, the team's emotional and tactical centerpiece, has gone the opposite route. Brunson cut his field goal attempts by 13.6%, from 21.4 to 18.5 per game, while increasing his assists by nearly 9%. His true shooting now sits at a remarkable 60.5%. That's what it looks like when a star adjusts his game to elevate others. On paper, Towns remains one of the most efficient shooting big men in basketball, but his shot profile reveals something deeper. Despite being a career 39% shooter from 3, his long-range attempts have declined, from 5.3 to 4.7 per game. Instead, he's opted for more post-ups and isolations, averaging 3.3 per game, one of only 8 players in the entire league to reach that mark. He's scoring efficiently on those possessions, converting at 0.742 points per post-up. But efficiency doesn't always equal effectiveness. Every time Towns backs down a defender for a fadeaway or hooks his way through traffic, the Knicks offense stalls. The ball movement that once defined this team slows to a crawl. Under head coach Mike Brown, the Knicks have emphasized tempo, spacing, and quick decision-making, a shift from the grinded-out style of previous regimes. Yet, the numbers show a worrying trend. New York currently ranks in the bottom 8 in passes per 24 minutes. Towns' tendency to isolate rather than facilitate directly contributes to that stagnation. It's not just the pace or flow that suffers, it's the impact on everyone else. Brunson, who thrives on pick-and-roll rhythm, finds fewer opportunities to orchestrate. Bridges, a player who depends on off-ball motion, becomes a spectator. Even OG Anunoby, a natural slasher and spot-up threat, spends long stretches watching from the corner. Then there's the rebounding surge, another number that seems positive on the surface. Towns' rebounding average has skyrocketed 54%, from 8.3 to 12.8 per game, but context matters. That jump often reflects his tendency to camp near the rim, prioritizing personal positioning over spacing or quick outlets. Elite facilitating bigs, like Nikola Jokic or Domantas Sabonis, see assist spikes, not rebounding explosions, because they create plays rather than wait for them. Towns' numbers hint at a player more focused on his stat line than on optimizing team flow. Knicks fans have seen this movie before. Carmelo Anthony's era in New York was defined by high-usage, isolation-heavy basketball. Entertaining, yes, but often empty in the win column. Melo averaged nearly 20 shots per night with just over 3 assists. The offense revolved around his rhythm, and while it made for highlights, it also led to stagnation and predictable crunch-time possessions. Russell Westbrook's tenure in Oklahoma City provides another warning. His triple-double seasons were historic, but they also came with constant accusations of stat padding. Westbrook ranked near the bottom in contested shot defense among starters playing 30-plus minutes, while aggressively chasing rebounds to secure averages. The numbers were dazzling, but the team dynamic suffered. Towns is walking a similar path. He's too talented to be dismissed. His touch, size, and skill set are rare, but his approach risks turning him into the Knicks' next cautionary tale. The very traits that made him an all-star, confidence, assertiveness, offensive versatility, yet are now clashing with the needs of a team built on balance and movement. This isn't about whether Towns can score. He can, anywhere, against anyone. It's about whether he can adjust, sacrifice, and lead within a structure that demands less isolation and more connection. Under Mike Brown's leadership, the Knicks have sought to build an identity rooted in trust, pace, and unselfishness. Brunson leads by example, Bridges locks in defensively, and Anunoby provides stability on both ends. Towns was supposed to be the versatile piece tying it all together. The big man who could stretch the floor, pass out of the post, and open driving lanes for New York's guards. Instead, the team often bends to accommodate him. The offense slows when he posts up. The spacing shrinks when he hunts shots inside. The ball moves less when he looks for his rhythm first. For a roster designed around chemistry and shared responsibility, that's a problem. At this point in his career, Karl Anthony Towns faces a choice: continue as a stat sheet superstar, or evolve into the kind of unselfish, adaptable cornerstone that championship teams are built around. Because if he doesn't, this era of Knicks basketball, now guided by Mike Brown and powered by Brunson, Bridges, and Anunoby, might end up with the same frustrating question that haunted so many before it. What could have been if everyone had truly played for the team? Giannis Antetokounmpo has once again become the focus of one of the NBA's biggest offseason storylines. And once again, the New York Knicks are right at the center of it. The two-time MVP, one of the league's most dominant and marketable stars, set off another wave of speculation after acknowledging that people around him have been trying to push him toward New York. A lot of people have tried to convince me to go and play there, New York and stuff. Antetokounmpo told streamer iShowSpeed during a recent appearance. That one sentence was all it took to reignite the rumors that never really seemed to go away. For Knicks fans, it was a flicker of hope, a reminder that the dream of seeing Giannis in blue and orange isn't dead yet. For the rest of the league, it was another sign that the situation in Milwaukee may not be as stable as it appears on paper. This offseason has already been one of the wildest in recent memory. Kevin Durant was traded from Phoenix to Houston, reshaping the Western Conference once again. Devin Booker and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander both signed Supermax extensions, locking them into their franchises for the foreseeable future. And then came the shocking move out of Milwaukee: the Bucks' decision to waive Damian Lillard after his devastating Achilles injury in the playoffs. That decision changed everything. When the Bucks paired Lillard with Antetokounmpo, the goal was clear: build a championship contender around their superstar forward. But now, with Lillard gone and uncertainty surrounding the team's future, the question has resurfaced: how long will Giannis want to stay? It's no secret that the Knicks have been eyeing Antetokounmpo for years. They've built a solid core around Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns, and continue to position themselves as one major piece away from true title contention. New York's front office has quietly stockpiled assets and maintained flexibility for exactly this kind of opportunity: the chance to go all in for a generational player if he ever becomes available. Earlier this year, reports surfaced suggesting that Giannis was open-minded about his future beyond Milwaukee. SNY insider Ian Begley noted at the time that it would be foolish to count the Knicks out if Antetokounmpo ever decided to move on. That statement carried weight, especially coming from someone with strong ties to the New York front office. But a lot has changed since then. The Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau after another deep playoff run that ended in heartbreak, a loss to the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. The move signaled a shift in philosophy as New York now looks for a younger, more offensive-minded coach to lead the next phase of its rebuild. That new phase has already begun under head coach Mike Brown, whose arrival has brought a fresh energy and a more fluid offensive system designed to maximize the team's growing star core. For a player like Giannis, that could either be an appealing fresh start or another reason to hesitate. Still, the Knicks are keeping a close eye on the situation. Giannis remains under contract with Milwaukee for 3 more years, part of a $175 million deal that includes a player option for the 2027-28 season. He's set to earn $54 million in 2025-26, but contracts in the NBA are only as strong as a player's desire to stay. If a superstar wants out, history shows that teams usually find a way to make it happen. And while Antetokounmpo insists he loves Milwaukee, his recent comments leave plenty of room for interpretation. When iShowSpeed asked him if he plans to remain with the Bucks, Giannis didn't exactly sound definitive. Probably, we'll see, he said with a grin. Probably, I love Milwaukee. That probably, repeated 3 times, is what sent social media into overdrive. Fans dissected every word, every pause, every facial expression. Was he being playful, or was it a glimpse into genuine uncertainty about his long-term future? For now, it's all speculation, but the timing is impossible to ignore. The Bucks are coming off another disappointing postseason exit. The Lillard experiment, which was meant to secure Giannis's loyalty, has already fallen apart. Milwaukee's supporting cast is aging, and the team's salary cap situation limits flexibility. Meanwhile, the rest of the league, particularly the teams in major markets, can smell blood in the water. The Knicks in particular are positioned to make a compelling pitch if the opportunity ever arises. They have the assets, the market, and the star power to make a legitimate offer. Madison Square Garden, often called the Mecca of basketball, has always been a magnet for superstar dreams. The thought of Giannis teaming up with Brunson, Bridges, and Towns under the bright lights of New York would instantly make the Knicks one of the most talked about teams in sports. But for now, it's still a waiting game. Giannis hasn't demanded a trade, and Milwaukee has made it clear they intend to build around him for as long as possible. The Bucks' front office is under immense pressure to retool the roster quickly and prove to their superstar that they can still compete for championships. Antetokounmpo, now 30, is in the prime of his career. He's already a 2-time MVP, a Finals MVP, and an NBA champion. He's accomplished everything possible in Milwaukee, but the hunger for more, for a new challenge, might eventually outweigh loyalty. His recent comments don't confirm anything, but they don't close any doors either. And in the NBA, that's often all it takes for a rumor to turn into a reality. As it stands, Giannis says he loves Milwaukee, but "we'll see" can be a dangerous phrase, especially when New York is waiting on the other end of the phone. Until he makes a definitive commitment, the Knicks and the rest of the league will continue to watch, wait, and dream.